wasn't familiar with that one. I am familiar with two others, though. I've seen fire and I've seen rain, and then I've gone to Carolina in my mind.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and one of them I heard a St. Paul Saints game. And yes, I'm wearing the hoodie. Love the Saints. I pay attention to music pretty much anywhere I go. And then David Lenander, I know he was going through the strings on his guitar, and I was almost wondering, all right, is he trying to replicate the dueling banjos from the movie Deliverance? And as for that, I was always lost as to why they called it dueling banjos, because one of them is a guitar and the other is actually a banjo. It's like, who knows? It's been around for a while. Nobody really questioned that one. But I know I didn't have a banjo to try to replicate that. I don't know how to play musical instruments, so it's like, all right, play a little more is what I was thinking. But yeah, you got different reasons for testing out equipment, so I get it. All right, now for the regular scheduled jokes. Well, I've noticed the bank employees that needs tails from the bank, like tails from crypt. It was a pretty ho-hum week after I dealt with what piled up on Tuesday morning getting back to the office after being out of town in Chicago and not being there for 2 days of work. But, I mean, I knew I would get a few emails that would just be waiting for me that nobody else was going to do while I was out. In fact, one of them said, Lyle will be back soon, so he'll take care of it. It's like, oh, great. Hey, I should have been out of the office for a week then. They would have had no choice but to do it on their own. But it was about something I overnighted, and I first had to tell them, I need a check number, because the payee they gave me was not correct. I said, it was for the bank. No, it was to the dealer. I overnighted it to the dealer, and I did my part. So I even told them that. It's like, well, now it's up to them, whoever has the check, because it's on them on the accruing interest and all that. I know that was one of the sob stories that I sometimes hear about overnighting checks, and it's like, well, I know well enough, don't just give them the tracking number and tell them, well, it was delivered on such and such date, or it got picked up, it's on the way. What else can I do? I can't deliver it myself. That's why we hire somebody else to do it. And then I still did things this weekend. I mean, I still believe in living my life no matter what's happening out there. Although at one point I know that what was in my mind was the Anchorman rant in the movie Network, the one that ends with, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take this anymore. The part about how we all know things are bad, just leave us alone at home with our simple pleasures, to paraphrase. I mean, that's, I guess, how I was feeling at the time is, well, I've already got things scheduled, booked, paid for, damn it. I want to go do them, and I did them. And that meant going to see a movie or two. Actually, two. Saturday afternoon, it was the one called Is This Thing On? I still think of myself as a student of the craft that I do stand-up comedy, and that's why I wanted to see that one. Except it was disappointing because there wasn't a lot of scenes in it that really dealt with stand-up comedy. I mean, it was mostly about the main character trying to hide it from people, thinking that it wouldn't be accepted because he's a middle-aged man that already has a good job in finance and such, and how his strange wife and kids feel about it. And it's like, I mean, I've seen other stand-up comedy movies that had a lot more substance to that, like the ones with Mike Birbiglia. But and I know some would say, well, Peyton Manning had a cameo in it. And it's like, well, for me, that is not enough. I know who that is, but that's just a cameo. I need more meat to the story than what I got from this one. I think that's why I like going to the Try-On a lot, because even though they show classics, I mean, they usually are gleaning the best ones out there from yesteryear. And the one I saw the next day, Sunday night, was an Italian movie that was translated as The Swindle from the 50s, and Broderick Crawford was in it. And for some reason, I always have a fascination for con man movies. I think it's because I just want to see how they pull it off. In fact, there was even one actually called The Grifters that I think young John Cusack was in. And of course, that's another term for con men, is grifters. And I know with this movie, I know that you have to get past the subtitling in it, and I was pretty good at paying attention to that. I didn't miss very many of the subtitles in it, But it's still a reminder of, yeah, what happened in the end is what you should have expected. That old saying about no honor among thieves, I think is the best way of wording it, where, yeah, it's illegal, and that's more of a reason why people are going to fight in the end. It's just like what my dad said a few times about other movies I've seen. It's like, well, did this happen? And eventually it's like, yeah, and we should have expected it if it's something illegal. And then even today, the bank holiday, I still want to stay active. I mean, I can't just sit at home watching movies or TV all day. So when I don't live that far from Mall of America, it's like, let's go there, let's have lunch. And they also had an exhibit called Vatican Unveiled, and I know, I'm a Protestant kid, and I actually did mention that while I was there, but I said at the same time, well, I'm a history major, so I still think of it as a history exhibit. And yes, I did learn a few things while I was there, like how the conqueror known as Napoleon Bonaparte actually kidnapped a pope, and it's like, why didn't I learn that in history classes before? You'd think they would have talked about that. Nope, they hadn't. Don't know why. I guess that'd be a real downer in terms of him being a conqueror, where they'd much rather talk about his military exploits than who he kidnapped. You'd think he'd want to be more diplomatic with religious leaders, but who knows? I guess he wouldn't be the only one that didn't believe in that. King Henry VIII, well, he was mentioned there too. He wasn't diplomatic either when it came to religious leaders. But yeah, I did get some souvenirs there. I mean, being bookish, no surprise that it was books, especially when they didn't have postcards. But you get what you get. I'm pleased with what I got. One was actually a graphic novel. And yeah, I don't have too many of those. I said the art was pretty cool in it. And I know I usually don't talk about the news of the world, and I think because usually it's just on TV for me, especially in my quiet neighborhood. But I know that when I was going up for a walk this morning, but it was a short one because it was sub-zero weather. I took the bus to Mall of America because it was so damn cold. I was actually waiting to cross the road, and then I saw a state trooper escorting personnel carriers through, National Guardsmen, and one of them actually waved to me, and it's like, I'd like to think it was that instead of stop, because it's like, well, this is a heavily traveled road. I'm crazy, not stupid. I'm definitely going to wait for a green light on my side when there's so many cars going through. And it's like, well, if it was a wave, was it just a general one, or did he see my Snoopy winter hat? Because it's like, they're people too. I'm sure they have things that they like as well. I mean, who knows? I mean, I came from a different part of the world. I mean, small town Iowa, where being a cop or National Guard was definitely more honorable because, I mean, people knew each other a lot better in small towns and all that. I'm quite aware of how the demographic is different in a big city, but it's like, yeah, I guess that's something I'll remember for a while. And then I still crossed the road when it was safe, taking a cart back because I like those quarters at Aldi. Well, I guess that'll do it for me. You've all been great.